right, guys, I got good news and I got bad news. You want to start with the good news? Okay, check this out. As for the bad news, well, Google recently had their Circle Jerk Tech Expo thing, a series of workshops, presentations on mostly AI, a lot of AI stuff.
Is everybody really excited?
Woo!
Amazing.
And out of it came the update that has got everybody talking, this supposedly huge new update to the Google search experience. Google's new AI search update changes everything. Biggest change to the search bar in years. Google reinvents search. Google just turned everything into AI. Google search is truly dead. Google search as you know it is over. But what if I told you that it's really not a big update at all, and that Google search is not dead, nor going to die anytime soon, but that those are actually all the more reason to be deeply concerned for the future of the internet. Now let me start by defending my claim that this is not actually a big change, because I acknowledge that it seems like I'm disagreeing with everybody by saying so. I've seen some screenshots floating around, like this Culture Crave tweet. A top-notch source of information, no doubt. But let's dig deeper, because this tweet cites a TechCrunch article. And in the TechCrunch article, you see a lot of the same kind of very big language about this update. The biggest change to the search box in more than 25 years. Except you notice at the bottom they had to disclaim that, they updated this to clarify that the links are not actually gone because of some misinterpretations spreading online. Okay, we were being a little dramatic, just a little bit of clickbait. Just a little bit of clickbait. So I have a great idea. If we really want to know what this supposedly massive revolutionary update is, why don't we go read Google's own press release talking about it and explaining what it is? And if we do so, it's really not much. There's definitely some new features that they're rolling out for the AI mode search. There's new search agents, agentic searching, and then there's agentic coding, where you can make these like miniature apps within Google. And by the way, both of those are paid features, so who's gonna use them? Oh, and they're introducing new agentic capabilities to help you shop. We'll talk about that more later. But besides that, the big news is we're updating Gemini to a newer Gemini. Yay! And so what Google claims is the biggest search box change in 25 years, completely reimagined with AI. It's just the search box now expands to include all of the text that you type into it. Oh, buddy, whoop-de-doo, oh my days, wow. Look, AI search has already existed on Google for over a year now. In fact, they're claiming that it's now surpassed 1 billion monthly users. Yikes. And the AI overview popping up at the top of search results has unfortunately become an all too familiar eyesore. We've all seen the baby kitten role-playing memes, one Reddit user suggests kill yourself. What I'm saying is AI generated results have already been integrated with Google for a while now. Now AI overview is different from the full-on AI mode where it takes over your screen and it's like a ChatGPT conversation. And I guess Google is saying that it's now easier to flow into AI mode by like asking follow-up questions and launching into this conversational search experience. But like once again, unless I'm some lucky beta test user, that was just already a thing. Like there's always been this box at the bottom where you can ask another question, and there was already this AI mode tab that replaced the first tab on the page. Am I going crazy? Like this has always been here. But again, all of this to say that while Google is marketing this as some huge change, the biggest update to their search bar in 25 years, that's just a flat out lie. To me, this is barely even an upgrade, at least to the average user who doesn't need a fleet of agentic robot slaves to search for them. So, as is all too often with everything AI related, to me, this is just more marketing and posturing than anything real and tangible. It's the concept of something new and revolutionary. It's AI-flavored sparkling water. But that doesn't mean that Google's announcement here isn't important. As I said, quite the opposite. So why am I nitpicking so much? Well, there's two reasons. The first being that I don't really want to parrot Google's marketing for them. The reason why they're advertising this update like it's the best thing since sliced bread is because They're trying to prove to their AI stockholders that they're winning the AI race. They're doing new and amazing things with AI. They're the king of AI. And I know that a lot of the people talking about this, a lot of the publicity is critical, negative publicity, but it's still publicity. It's still got people talking and repeating this idea that it's some huge, massive update, which it's just not. Their product is just slowly morphing into a knockoff version of ChatGPT. You're like 3 years late to the game, Google, but congrats. And that brings us to the second reason. Because this is such a small and ground intact update, I don't think the average user is gonna feel or notice much of a difference. And that in itself is the problem. It's an insidiously slow but steady march towards the total reliance on AI. You see, when Google first started rolling out AI features in search results, it was like, okay, great, now there's this annoying box at the top of the search results. For now, they're calling it experimental, and there's a lot of backlash to it. So I and others perhaps naively thought that, surely a feature this bad, this annoying, won't stick around for too long, or at least we'll be able to disable it somehow. That didn't happen. They kept on chugging, rolling out the feature to more users and making it more invasive in every type of search. For example, replacing the built-in Oxford Languages dictionary, which I have to take a brief pause to rant about because this change will never cease to leave me utterly flabbergasted. Gobsmacked. This was always a great feature. Instead of having to go to Merriam-Webster's advertisement compendium to go find a definition to a word, you could just type definition, and boom, Google would give you a definition from a dictionary. And not just the definition, you got an audio pronunciation, complete with a phonetic spelling. You got example sentences, part of speech, other tags like vulgar, informal. You got an etymology tree, and all of this formatted neatly and consistently. Like if you searched the same thing twice, you'd get the same result twice. Obviously. And that sounds like a perfect example of a way to update Google, add more features that just make search a better tool for everybody, right? Hell no, let's get rid of that. We gotta replace it with an AI overview that reads like a short essay response with section headers and bullet points and emoji, and it changes when you reload. You already had a solution. No, the solution. And you got rid of it just to create a new imaginary problem that AI could go solve poorly. But as I was saying, the progress of AI overview creeping into Google search results has been gradual. Careful not to ever change the user experience so drastically that it would leave a user outright frustrated. Unless that user is me and you just remove the Oxford Languages dictionary feature. AI overview was annoying at first, still annoying now if you ask me, but I think to a lot of users, now it's just normal. I'd wager that a lot, if not most, Google users are at least skimming, if not actually reading and engaging with the AI overviews that pop up on search results. It's a basic rule of UX design. If you take your feature and shove it into the top of every single page that a user visits, they're gonna have to pay attention to it. And again, at the moment, there's no indication that Google is actually replacing the default search function with launching straight into AI mode. But if they did, users would use it. They're gonna click whichever button is first on the screen, the biggest button, whatever the path of least resistance is, the user will take. But there's one thing that would stop people from using AI mode, and that's if it generated literal garbage. I mean, like unreadable, completely nonsense. Then people would just scroll past it. It would be an inconvenience. But the problem is that AI usually generates something that's good enough. I mean, it looks sensible. It's comprehensible, at least. It gives you something that at least has the illusion of answering your question, and therefore it seems like the most convenient search experience. Type your question, read an answer within seconds, and move right along. No more need for that searching the web stuff. And this, I think, is the overarching problem with generative AI tools and the problem that it highlights with society as a whole. We're lazy and we don't like to think. You see what I mean? Google just pushed this AI into our search results more and more and more until we just kind of accepted that this is Google now, without even really stopping to think, is it good? You see, normally scientific progress is slow because we really like to test things. I mean, take renewable energy, for example. It looks great on paper, could solve a lot of the world's problems, namely not blowing up our entire planet. But, I mean, wind turbines might be kind of loud. They might be kind of loud, and maybe the air might like smell or taste a little different without the fossil fuels. So like, are we sure? But really, we love to be skeptical when it comes to anything, new technology. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that's a good thing most of the time. Why is generative AI just immune to it? I mean, where is the proof that this works? Where is the evidence that generative AI tools are safe, effective, accurate? I'm not sure, but there is a Wikipedia article titled Deaths Linked to Chatbots. Yep, ChatGPT has a kill count, convincing kids to commit suicide, telling mentally ill people that they need to kill their family, or instructing murderers on what weapons to use. And on the business side, I don't know, it can just delete your entire production database or maybe vibe code up some severe security vulnerabilities. So then, why is the entire tech industry gung-ho about this new technology, throwing all the money in the universe at it? Oh, well, that's easy to answer, actually. You can save money by replacing human jobs with robot slaves that don't require dignity or a paycheck. I hope they do a good enough job, and look, if they don't, customers can just deal with it. You know, they can just pay more for a worse product. But why do so many regular people, you know, I'm talking about individuals, human beings with souls, why do they use or at least tolerate generative AI when there's been no proof given to them that it's effective or trustworthy? You know, aside from giant corporations who are clearly profiting off of their use of the AI, telling them that they should use more AI. And the answer is convenience. Generative AI is a convenience tool. See, when you choose to read an AI overview from Google, you're making a subconscious calculation that a little bit of your time and effort is not worth it for reliable, accurate information. Or to put it another way, an alarming number of us are okay, just content with operating off of half-truths and good enough information, almost reality, as long as it means that we have a little bit less thinking to do. We are going to be entering into, or realistically, we're probably already well within, an unprecedented crisis of misinformation because we've just collectively decided that conscious ignorance is an acceptable way of life. And this misinformation crisis really ramped up when AI-generated low-quality slop started to take over the web. Now, if you watch my videos often, this will probably come as no surprise, but according to some estimates, over half of the internet is AI generated. And of course, that leads to plenty of AI generated low quality results popping up in Google search, the way that most people find their information. Let me give you an example. The other day, I was searching Himalayan salt. Okay, I wanted to know why it was pink. And one of the top results was this site. Salt Clarity. Now, first you look at Salt Clarity, you might think, okay, this is just, whatever, it's a blog about salt, I guess. And then it very quickly becomes, oh, nope, Under this picture, the woman introduces herself as Molina Miski. I think that's supposed to be Maggie. I think that's a typo. Not a great look so far, but let's see what actual content exists on this page. You know, the kind of thing that might pop up on Google if you were looking for, a weight loss drink, I guess. Right, here we got Pink Salt Reset Day. That's just a glass of water with salt in it. Nice. Oh, here's an AI-generated picture where the glasses actually have the words low sodium and low regular. It's just supposed to say regular, not low regular. Or how about this image where you forgot to generate salt on every part of the rim except for right where you hold it at the handle. Or a pink salt citrus wake-up shot where you're eating an entire rock. Wait, hold on. We have a cortisol cocktail. Cortisol levels off the chart. And you already know the drill. This entire page is a giant wall of text. Anything that can get it to show up in Google search results. And of course, the end goal is to convert clicks to money. The page is loaded with advertisements and affiliate links. So yeah, Google search clearly has some problems already. And what's the solution? I know. What if we replaced Google search with a chatbot that'll go out and scrape all that slop from the web, you know, chew it together, re-slopify it, and then puke it back out as an AI overview. You know, that way you won't have to visit the original site and see any of the mistakes, the AI generated images, all the red flags that would let you know normally that this is a low quality, untrustworthy source of information. Brilliant idea! And remember how I mentioned shopping at the beginning? Well, now when you're curious about getting yourself a robot puppy, AI Overview will not just tell you how great of a product this AI scam garbage is, but it will even let you buy it right then and there, integrated straight into Google search. Once again, relieving you of the need to, I don't know, go check out the website yourself, see all of the obvious scam tactics and disgusting marketing that's being used to fool people. I mean, Google is practically acting as an accomplice for scammers at this point. And seriously, by the way, when I called it a chatbot earlier, I wasn't kidding. It really is just a chatbot like any other. Look, you can tell it to pretend to be a baby bird that can only chirp and tweet. And even that, it will somehow fail at in spectacular and hilarious fashion. As far as I know, it's barely, if at all, optimized to actually be good at searching in particular. But it provides links to websites as sources, I hear you saying. Yeah, and if you ask it something completely nonsensical, like, you know, to be a bird that can only chirp and tweet, it will literally hallucinate totally unrelated websites to claim as sources for some information that's not even present in the message. So how confident can you ever be that any of the sources it provides are actually containing the information it's giving you and not just something that looks plausible enough? Can we just stop pretending that this is a reliable or useful feature in any capacity? I mean, the best use case scenario for this is just having the AI compile a list of websites that might be relevant to your search query. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a transmission. Okay, yep, I'm being informed that compiling a list of websites related to your search query is exactly what Google has been doing since 1998. So yes, Google, I actually agree that your search engine currently sucks and could use some major revamping. And how about we start by getting rid of the AI overview? But if you really want to incorporate AI so bad, why not use it for something it's much better suited for? Here's an idea. When you index pages on Google to rank them, instead of just relying on keywords and metadata, the stuff that's easily manipulated by these slop farms to optimize SEO and show up in results often, maybe add in an AI review process that can kind of digest the website and detect some of these patterns like AI-generated text or images all over the page, or even document structure that's commonly found on scam storefronts like these cookie-cutter dropshipping sites. And by the way, this is what I do on my channel all the time. By just paying attention to some of these obvious red flags and commonly used patterns, you can pretty much immediately weed out whether a website is reliable or not. Of course, AI can and will make mistakes, so I'm not suggesting that Google search results should entirely hinge on an AI review of websites, but it's a very realistic way that we could at least experiment with trying to combat the problem of AI slop dominating Google search results. And if that's not quite your cup of tea, well then there's plenty of other ideas. How about a community notes-esque feature that would allow users to rate Google search results based on their quality, accuracy, and relevance to the search query? For example, if I search Google Classroom and a site with porn thumbnails comes up, like on my last video, I could tell Google to maybe not push that Google search result quite as high in the list. And with the sheer volume of Google search results that are happening every minute, every second, we're talking about employing a free workforce of 1 billion people to help moderate Google search results. Instead of always looking for ways to solve problems using robots cosplaying as humans, what if our first priority was just to try solving problems with humans? My point is, I refuse to believe that a company with as much money and resources and power at their disposal as Google couldn't come up with some more clever and meaningful and tangible ways to improve the quality and user friendliness of their Google search platform that doesn't require billions of dollars of AI funding just to fart out the next Garbage Printer Deluxe Edition. And of course, I've been really focusing on the very real issue of widespread scams and fraud and misinformation, but we also need to talk about the 50% of the web that is actually useful. I'm talking about government and organization resources, online encyclopedias, or that one Reddit thread from 2012 that showed you how to enable 30 FPS recording on your Logitech C270 webcam. Well, congrats! That all belongs to Google now! As Google pushes AI search more and more, they're effectively encouraging a user experience where you never have to leave Google. In fact, you never should leave Google. And in doing so, they are actively cannibalizing the rest of the internet. The random dude who runs the Whole Truth boating forum relies on traffic to the site for ad revenue just to keep the servers running. But if all the hookers and the master baiters out there start taking their phishing-related queries straight to Google AI search, then there's not going to be any forum left. And when there's no incentive left to create and maintain actual reliable and useful resources on the internet, what happens? Did you guess more scams and misinformation? As Hank Green said, and I will continue to say in every video I make, it is truly a golden age for scammers. So look, if you're the casual user who just wants a quick answer when you search something, and you find yourself often glancing at that pesky AI overview, I want to ask you something. Are you okay with just operating on a good enough version of reality? Or better yet, Are you okay with everyone around you operating on a good enough version of reality? Are you willing to blindly accept a tool with no evidence of its credibility just because a multi-trillion-dollar company shoved it down your throat hard enough while promising it's actually awesome and actually the best? And maybe you just think you're special, you're too smart, you're immune to scams and misinformation, and also, who cares if Google eats the entire internet? Then my final question, are you willing to be complacent? Sit idly by and watch while those who are more vulnerable than you get duped and scammed and preyed upon by everyone who gets the chance. Here's one last suggestion, one last idea. Maybe just stop using Google so much. I know the force of $1 billion of magic AI investment money is pretty hard to beat, but a company is worthless without its consumers. So next time you want to go read about Theodore Roosevelt, go type in wikipedia.org into your browser and go search it there. If you've got an interest like boating, go find a relevant forum community and get active in it. And bookmark the page instead of searching the name of the forum every time you want to visit it. And instead of watching this video on YouTube, you could subscribe to my Patreon for just $1 to get access to early and ad-free videos. But like, seriously, whatever you choose to do, be safe out there browsing. It's a wild time to be on the internet. Always keep your critical thinking caps on and always strive for the fullest and truest version of reality that you can find. And with that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.